The day-to-day hustle and bustle of the food business can make it easy to put workplace safety on the back burner. But the last thing you want is to have an accident to remind you of just how important safety is when you're on the job. So you need to stay ahead of the game by recognizing the hazards in your workplace, as well as knowing how to avoid them and what to do if an accident does occur. One of the best ways to ensure that everyone is following this process is by conducting a safety audit. Although you might not be in charge of any audits, there are still ways you can help them go smoothly. In this program, we'll cover the various components of a safety audit, including how a workplace safety analysis works, the systems of controls you can find in your facility, how to prioritize personal safety, and what to do if an accident does occur. What exactly is a safety audit, and what is it for? A safety audit is a review that identifies hazards and risks in a facility. It can help to improve safety programs, protect workers, prevent accidents, and comply with OSHA regulations. Usually, your supervisor or manager will build an internal auditing team that will inspect your work area, interview you and your coworkers, and make sure your facility meets industry safety standards. But sometimes, safety audits are conducted by an external company. In this case, their investigators are in charge of the process. There are three major types of safety audits addressing hazard identification, compliance with regulatory standards, and the overall effectiveness of your facility's safety program. Some audits tackle all of these issues at once. You can't find solutions to problems that you don't know about, which is why the first step in any safety audit is a comprehensive search for potential hazards called a workplace analysis. This typically begins with a physical inspection of your work environment. The audit team will look for general hazards in the facility, such as cluttered work areas, damaged or uneven flooring, insufficient lighting, and any hazardous materials. They will also examine tools and equipment to make sure that they are right for the jobs they're being used for, and that they are in good condition. The analysis can even include an assessment of the factors that are associated with the organization of individual workstations and their ergonomic impact. In addition to a physical inspection, a workplace analysis should also examine your facility's policies and procedures and how they might affect on-the-job safety. Because you are working with food, part of your workplace analysis needs to include issues such as food storage, the potential for contamination, and fire and burn hazards that can exist when cooking or heating food and beverages. Your knowledge and opinions are important to this process. While you may not be in charge of your facility's workplace analysis, you can still help to make sure that it goes smoothly. After all, no one knows your job better than you do. So you might be asked to inspect your own work area and equipment for damage or potential hazards. If you do find any problems during your inspection, it's important that you immediately report them to the audit team, as well as your supervisor, facility manager, or your company's safety director. After you complete an evaluation of your work area, an auditor might also interview you. So think about how you do your job, and be ready to make any recommendations you have about how it could be done more safely. One essential part of a safety audit is evaluating the systems of controls in your facility. These are physical or procedural controls that are used in your workplace to minimize the hazards that are associated with your job. They are called systems of controls for a reason. They work together to protect you, but that doesn't mean that they all function the same way. In fact, OSHA's hierarchy of controls identifies the various types of controls that can exist in a workplace and how effective each type is. At the top is the elimination of a potential hazard and guarantees that the hazard no longer exists. It can involve ending the use of a hazardous material or removing hazardous equipment from the facility. Next is substitution. If a hazard can't be completely eliminated, your facility can substitute something that poses less of a risk. For example, swapping out a highly hazardous sanitation chemical for one that is less hazardous. Following elimination and substitution in the hierarchy are engineering controls. These are physical control mechanisms in your facility or on your equipment that help protect you from hazards. For instance, there can often be pollutants released into the air during food production and preparation, so a ventilation system can be installed to remove these contaminants from your work area. A guard around a conveyor belt is another example of an engineering control. It's there to protect you from dangerous moving parts and pinch points. Administrative controls provide the next level of protection. These are the rules and procedures that are set up to make your facility as safe a place to work as possible. For example, putting a no smoking policy in place in an area that contains flammable materials to help prevent a fire or explosion from occurring. Minimizing exposure to high heat conditions in a kitchen by using shorter work shifts or rotating work schedules is another example of an administrative control. Personal protective equipment, PPE, is at the bottom of the hierarchy of controls, but that doesn't mean it isn't important. It's just the last line of defense against injury. It's used to protect you from problems that might occur even though administrative and engineering controls are in place, not instead of them. As part of a workplace analysis, your supervisor will want to make sure that you're using the correct PPE for the work that you do and using it properly. You should also examine your PPE yourself to verify that it's in good condition. Gloves that have worn thin or safety glasses that are cracked will not protect you. While you may not have had a part in setting up the controls in your facility, it's important that everyone uses them. So as part of an audit, you may be asked to monitor how the controls in your area are working. If you find any potential problems, you need to report them immediately. Food processing and handling facilities can be very large places, which means that an audit team has a lot of ground to cover. So doing your own inspection of your work area can help to make sure that no hazards slip through the cracks. First, check to see that all pathways are free from clutter, and make sure extension cords are only used when they should be. They aren't meant to be permanent fixtures, just temporary outlets. If you need to string a cord across a walkway, be sure you tape it down so nobody trips. Put cords away as soon as you're finished with them. Block dials can create an immediate tripping hazard. They can also prevent people from getting to safety showers, eye wash stations, fire extinguishers, and exits, which could be a real problem in an emergency. So you need to make sure that these paths are clear. You should also inspect the equipment and tools that are in your work area. Look for any dents, frayed cords, or dull blades. All of these can lead to serious accidents. And while you're at it, take a look at your work area's setup. If you constantly have to move at awkward angles or make repetitive motions to get your work done, it could lead to an ergonomic injury. So if you can make your workstation more ergonomically friendly, do it. It's also important to know if there are any hazardous materials in your work area. Make sure that you can identify each material, its hazards, and the safe work practices you should use when working with it. You can find this information in the Materials Safety Data Sheet. And remember, if anything changes in your work area, such as the addition of new equipment, you need to make sure you are up to date with any training that you need to work safely with it. When most people hear the words safety audit, they think about inspecting their workplace and equipment. But you can't forget about yourself. This self-assessment or personal audit is important too. To stay safe, you have to look at how aware you are of what's going on in your work area and how well you follow safety procedures and protocols yourself. Start by reviewing your company's standard operating procedures, SOPs, to make sure you know them inside and out. SOPs help us do our jobs more efficiently by preventing misunderstandings and mistakes that can lead to accidents and injuries. So never ignore them because you think they aren't important. Following them is essential, and they apply to everyone. And never skip a procedure because you're in a hurry. Remember, safety is always the top priority. As you continue your personal audit, think about how well you know your facility. Are you able to locate all exits and fire escapes? Would you be able to find them in the dark if you had to? You need to know where safety showers and eye wash stations are located as well. You'll want to be able to find them in a hurry if you or a coworker are splashed with a hazardous substance. You should also determine where the nearest first aid kit is located. If an emergency occurs, you won't want to waste time searching for it. And make sure you know where fire extinguishers are kept too, as well as what type should be used in various situations. Using the wrong one could actually spread a fire instead of putting it out. But don't worry, you don't have to figure all of this out on your own. Your facility safety training program will help to make you aware of potential hazards, as well as how to prevent accidents. This could involve courses on general safety issues such as back safety, hearing conservation, and personal protective equipment, and regulations such as hazard communication and bloodborne pathogens, as well as issues that are more specific to your particular operations. It's important that you take these courses seriously so that you are prepared for any problems you may encounter. Sometimes, no matter how careful we are or what steps we take to protect ourselves, accidents still happen. So part of conducting a safety audit is making sure everyone in your facility knows what to do if an accident or another emergency occurs. Although this may not be your direct responsibility, there are things that you can do to help. First, check to see that emergency numbers are posted by all phones in your work area. This includes EMT, fire, and police departments. In some places, you can reach these services by simply dialing 911. Any internal emergency number should also be posted, such as the safety department, security personnel, or your company's fire and rescue team. If an incident does occur, everyone in your facility should know the procedures to follow. You should start by helping anyone who has been injured get the medical assistance that they need. Then the details of the accident need to be documented in a report so that it can be thoroughly investigated. Investigators will speak to other coworkers who witnessed the event to get as complete a picture of what happened as possible. Always report any incidents that you witness in your facility. No injury or accident is too minor. They all need to be looked at to determine what caused them. You should report any near misses as well. A near miss is a narrowly avoided incident or accident. After all, your company can't fix a problem they don't know about. After you file a report, you should verify that an accident investigation has been started, so that everyone knows that the problem has been identified and action is being taken. As we've seen, a safety audit can help your facility avoid a lot of accidents and injuries. And it's important to know what this process involves so you can contribute to it. Let's review. A safety audit is a comprehensive review of a facility that identifies hazards and risks to the people who work there. An audit will start with a workplace analysis, inspecting a facility's physical environment for hazards, as well as reviewing its safety procedures and policies. You should be aware of the systems of controls that are used in your facility, including hazard elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment. Conducting an inspection of your own work area is an important part of a safety audit. You know your job better than anyone, so you can offer important insight regarding any potential hazards that may exist there. Doing a personal safety audit can help you determine how well you know and follow safety policies and procedures yourself. You should always report any incident or near miss that you see occur, no matter how minor it may seem. Now that you know how you can play an active part in your facility's safety audits, you can help to make sure that your workplace is the safest it can be for both you and your coworkers.